You're listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. I am your host, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. In this show, I'm sitting down with creators from all walks of life to talk about inspiration, process, the lessons they've learned, and a whole lot more. Hola, mi gente, it's your boy Al Mega. Welcome to a brand new Comic Crusaders podcast. And today, folks, we're doing things just a tad different. You know, we're always talking about that creative journey, you know, but sometimes you got to fund that creative journey. You got to make that paper. So today, we're going to be talking with a man that's on a mission to redefine what's possible in wealth building. My man right here is the CEO of DiversyFund. He's breaking down the walls that have kept, financial growth opportunities exclusive. He's empowering everyday people to invest and thrive. For this man right here is more than just about business. It's about leveling the playing field and giving people the tools to create lasting wealth for themselves and their families. Now, through DiversyFund, he's changing lives one investment at a time and proving that financial freedom should be within reach for all. Let me introduce this man, this myth, this legend, the one, the only Craig Cecilio. Welcome to the show, brother. How you doing?
Hey, thanks for having me. Feeling great today. Great day.
Fantastic. Let's talk about it. So thank you for coming on. I'm excited here. You're doing some good work, and folks, I'm gonna put up the website so you can start even perusing the website a little bit. That's the website right there. We're gonna start getting right into this, my brother. Talk to me, brother. We love our good origin stories. So before we get into the business of DiversyFund and your journey, I need to know your origin story. Let the folks know where you originally are from, and probably the most important question here: what are the origins of your geekdom, if you will?
This long journey from childhood. So grew up in the Northeast. My family was working class. Mom was a school teacher. Father was in retail. Kind of lived in a wealthy area. There's like one street where the wealthy lived, and kind of the other side was more working class. Small town, about 45,000 people. Grew up in the 80s, and fortunate my parents put me through some private schools. That was great. And around me, I saw all these people have these great opportunities besides us. We couldn't go on the extravagant vacations, country clubs, which were just right down the street from us. Didn't really know at an early age about that stuff, the materialistic side of things, but I did see the frustrations coming home and seeing the complaining from the parents and everything. So that's where the seeds were kind of sown right there at an early age. And then as I grew up and started getting to high school, I could see the frustration just grow in my father. And I used to tell him, hey, why are you doing this? Why don't you just do something differently? And I told him, hey, when I'm older, I'm going to do something differently. So I was on a mission just to learn about wealth building. I went from Connecticut, where I grew up in the Northeast, out to Colorado for my graduate school, and then eventually out to California. So my intent was always to learn how to build wealth, surround myself with people who have done it before. And that was the genesis of where we are today. It was ingrained to me as a child, and that put me on that mission, gave me that passion and that energy to overcome the obstacles on my journey.
So talk about that. What are the origin stories of DiversyFund? I mean, what led to you creating this new fantastic platform? For those non-accredited out there trying to get their hands on making some money.
Yeah, so it started pretty much, hey, I was on a mission just to learn how to do this stuff, so to build wealth. And so I found some mentors at an early age, early 20s, started studying underneath them, learned how the game was played. They really gave me a lot of information, just more awareness that this existed. And then once you open that door, I kind of just walked through that door, right? And then I dedicated my life to doing it. So I started out just serving wealthy individuals and institutions and making them money. And then all of a sudden that was great, but it wasn't that rewarding. It was always how much money can make for them. You're serving them at the end of the day. They're really negotiating terms that are more beneficial for them than you. And so when I did that for over a couple, almost a couple decades, and I saw the opportunity for me to give back to people due to some of the regulation from the Jobs Act of 2012, that was my aha moment. Now I could do something that I've been trained to do and give back and serve everyone at the end of the day and democratize this process here. So then I went on that journey to start DiversyFund. Came up with the idea in 2014. I got qualified through the regulators, like 18 really to do it. Takes a long time. And here we are today, about 1 million people in our community, 30,000 customers, investors, and counting. And it's been great. It's always a challenge because you're going against the establishment and the rules, and that game is played a little differently. And then adding the technology with all the changes over the last decade, it's been quite a journey learning all that, how it works.
That's what I want to know, because that aha moment, the moment you figured it out, you said, oh shit, that light bulb went off. From that moment of that thought to inception of what it is now, right? What was, how, in terms of time, how much was that time?
Yeah, looking back, I just remember reading it somewhere. I was like, this is what I got to do. And just hired a branding firm. Hey, we got to come up with a name, right?
You just hired somebody. You said, I want to do this.
I had a business going. I was kind of doing sort of the same thing. I was raising capital, had wealthy investors. There's groups of them coming together. I had a small hedge fund I was running. So it's like, okay, now how do I open this up to everyone? How do I rebrand myself? What name do I use? And then just each step was just, okay, first step, come up with the name. Next step is really build out the platform. Next step, add the technology, all those pieces that have come together, learn the compliance and how that world works.
What was that learning curve like? Learning that side of things now?
Yeah, I knew a lot coming off everything. So one of the things I learned under a couple of attorneys in the late 90s, so I knew a good amount going into it. But this is a new piece of regulation. So I went out and found a co-founder who worked on Wall Street and was a corporate securities attorney, just to have that as part of my team going in, because I knew that was going to be a lot of work. And it is a lot of work. And when I'm spending a lot of work, I'm using code words. So this is what I believe, this is just my opinion, is that they make it difficult to weed out people. They make it expensive. And so there's a cost involved. And I've learned how that game is played. It's just, it costs money to do this, to understand the real people really know the inner workings of the system and how that works and how the establishment works. And you throw in different political leaders, and then that moves the goalposts, go back and forth for 3 minutes, doing this through 3 administrations, and fourth administration coming up soon. It's been quite a wild ride because each one has a different way they kind of enforce things, and the way that game is played, I call it at the end, and you learn, okay, maybe I'm a scholar, I understand a lot about law and all this stuff and regulators, and then you learn, like, okay, I got to go a level up, and then now I'm like, oh my God, it's like I wouldn't fathom how expensive that is to hire the great, because the $3,000-$4,000 attorney teams you need really to play in this. Again, they call it game, play in this game, because they're the ones who really understand the inner workings and how that works. And you have to build relationships behind the scenes there, understand what's going on, and what you have to watch out for and what you could be proactive with. It's always changing all the time, just like business is always changing. So I like that because that's the competitive nature of myself. That's always changing. And if you can't handle that, then you shouldn't be a business owner, first of all, because it's always,
absolutely. So, as we start getting into that DiversyFund, talk about that background you're in finance or entrepreneurship. Like, how did that prepare you for leading, a fintech company?
I still think that starts really, for me, was always at an early age, and I could bring up some stories about that stuff. Always being creative. I tested well in school too, and just I always had that knack to get things done. I was always entrepreneurial as a kid, doing the lemonade stands, mowing lawns, raking leaves.
Yeah, a hustler, baby.
That's all was as a child in single digits, and as I grew, I always found myself in some type of leadership role, always at the forefront of kind of doing things that are new and different. I always had that little anti-establishment me since an early age. So it's just an ongoing journey from there, and keeping growing and learning stuff with time. And fast forward to fintech, there was technology and finances came together after the last downturn really took off. So it's just a natural evolution. Just as a business owner, you had to incorporate technology to expand and scale your business, right? And that's where it started, always kind of learning how you could be more efficient with your business. And all entrepreneurs are the same way. It's like, how can I add technology to it? But then technology and finance came together, which was fascinating. All these companies popping up in the last decade, and it's fascinating now, and how they're like, a lot of them are out of business, right? Over 90% are out of business. That's a whole nother thing. It's what worked in the last kind of bull market will work in this bull market. And I think that was Howard Marks said the definition of insanity is doing something the last market is going to work in this market, in the new market. And so meaning that like you have to do something different. If you expect an output from the inputs from you did before, you got to change the way you do things in this market. That's your question. And so today, it's all about AI and how do you incorporate AI? You hear it all the time. And I use it constantly. I've used it. I just used it a second ago, sending someone an email. I just kind of, okay, can you butter this up for me a little bit?
Hey, yo, brother, you and me both. AI is a game changer for us people that are a little bit busy and we're not infringing. I know I'm Comic Crusaders podcast, so my conversation always leads to, copyright infringement and artistry. But in the sense of a CEO, like you just said, an email, hey, but just butter this up real quick because I'm in the middle sign. Oh, yeah, that's in my language because it's my email and it knows me. I've trained mine. So it's like, yeah, answers like Almega. Beautiful. Thank you. Save me. One click saved me, 5-10 minutes. You know what I mean? Beautiful. And that, time is money. So I want you to talk to me, though, because you're doing things, bro. And as you said, things change rapidly. So how do you maintain your motivation and specifically your focus when navigating, such a rapidly evolving industry like in fintech?
My motivation always, to me now, because it's a really deep story, it goes back to my childhood, overcoming adversity at a very, very early age. And then that came for me. It's like when I found out, I kept having the image of me being young and falling by a tree. And for some reason, I'm like, I call my mom. I was like in my 40s when I'm like having this. I'm going, what is this? Finally call my mom up. I was like, did I have like leg braces as a kid? I was like, oh, got to tell me I'm an adult. I was like, in my 40s, you're not telling me this. She kind of kept it from me. I did. I couldn't walk as a 3-year-old. I had to wear leg braces.
Oh, wow, really? Oh, shit.
So, yeah. So Robert Zemeckis filmed me first for that movie, Forrest Gump. No, I'm just kidding. But so I think that was ingrained to me at an early age of how to come to adversity. That was one of several situations and adversities I faced, but it started at an early age. And I believe that came from my ability to overcome that came from my mother's childhood, which she has a great story. And I'd love to share her story. Is when she was born, her mother passed away and her father rejected her because it reminded him of his wife that he was in love with. So she grew up that one day when she was born, she lost both parents.
Oh,
and
my
so
God.
she had to be shoveled around. She really built up her adversity. And so when I was growing up, every time I faced it, she's the one who kind of pushed me through. She wasn't that like warm, fuzzy mom. She like pushing you through. A great relationship. But that's kind of where it was ingrained in me. A little, the DNA side and then, societal side. And she was always there pushing me. And still to this day, she pushes me all the time. It's just like, okay.
Yeah. There's good push, there's average push. But listen, so long as they can support you and that make you believe that you are, in fact, capable of anything. I mean, that's a parent's job at the end of the day. Make sure that kid knows that they can do anything and protect them. That's what I do. So that's it. Let's get into DiversyFund's mission, baby. I need to learn about this. Can you explain a bit about DiversyFund's mission and how it differs from other investment platforms?
Yeah, no, it's very simple. So we're democratizing access to private investments. So opening up something kind of like Robinhood took fractional investing in stocks and made it affordable for everyone. We're taking the private market industry and open that up to everyone. Usually you need to have a certain net worth, usually for the really good quality.
Are we talking like IPOs and REIs and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, we dabble in that, but our main focus is institutional quality, commercial properties throughout the U.S., simple, tangible. This is an asset class that the majority of the general public doesn't have access to. So we want to start with something that's digestible for them, that they can understand. And so that's why we chose something in commercial real estate first to start with. We do some venture capital and some other investments as well, but we want to start it simple so it's digestible. There's a lot of education involved because most people don't know this exists or how it works or how a private investment works and appreciation works. And most importantly, how does this work for you where you are in life? Because a lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck and this is not the right investment for them. A lot of people go to like the stocks and try to work the system and try to outthink it, which you can at times, but there's more losers than winners with that.
Yeah. I did Wall Street in the early 90s. I did Wall Street in the early 90s. And if you ever seen the movie Boiler Room, that was my Wall Street experience.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, a few times.
Yeah, so if you saw that, I went through that. What you saw there is factual for 90s. That's what I went through. It was wild. It was crazy. I worked for about 5 firms within a year and a half. I said, now this is not for me if this is the stuff that's going on. You know?
Yeah, that's a tough business. And I see people going in that. It's tough business to succeed in. And when you do, there's, you were there. So I don't need to say anything.
Oh, yeah, it was party, baby.
Yeah. Your highs and lows. I got you. And so we're like able to give something, educate people is like what we're really leading with, a lot of education nowadays, creating programs for people depending where you are in your financial journey. Okay. I'm just giving you access with that. And as we're pretty big, got 30,000 people have invested in our platform. Ooh, and as we grow more and more, we'll be able to use our community and our resources to really compete with the larger hedge funds of the world. My vision at the end of the day, you might see BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, which are all like major hedge funds that own 80% of the S&P 500, and maybe you'll see our name up there as well. But we're giving access to the individual investor, the general public, to participate.
Yeah, that's all we take, man. We gotta help our people out here, and so talk about that. How does, for example, like Diversify ensures transparency and trust for investors, particularly those that are unfamiliar with this, this space that you're opening up for them?
Yeah, I mean, transparency is one. We have work with like the biggest auditor, the regulatory agency, the SEC. So we have to put our finances on their website on an annual basis. So I mean, it doesn't get any more than that out there. And then most people aren't going to read that stuff, or they're really complicated and use kind of big terms and languages. So we're constantly testing that with people. It's like, hey, what information do you want us to provide you? How can we educate you? A lot of this stuff is basic stuff. It's like, how does this apply to you? Are you ready for this? You might be more paycheck to paycheck. This is more like savings, your savings account. And so we notice people with IRAs, they understand it a little bit more. It's easier to communicate with them. They're a little bit, it's kind of like, a good analogy would be like if you're in marketing, you have a lead funnel, right? And you have the scores get like hotter as you go down that funnel. So in our minds, we have like it's educational funnel. Where are you? Do you need the basic information first? Do you need more advanced stuff? And give them that educational content to see, okay, awesome. This is what you understand today. It's very personalized, and this is what we're giving you. Hey, this might not work for you today, but here's a tool if you want to get in early, or when you're ready, here's a way to do it. Really educating people. This is, hey, long-term investing and how that works. And kind of, if people aren't in really the habit of saving yet, that's a tough thing because a lot of people aren't. They can't save. And so
it's been rough for the last few years, and hopefully with this change, people get some more dollars back in their pockets. I hope.
Yeah, and it's interesting. The markets are still pretty high overall.
I mean, look at Bitcoin. We were talking about in the agreement. I mean, it did break 100 grand, dropped a little below it, but like you said, those people that bought it early and just held on to it are very happy nowadays.
Yeah, I think I think it's BlackRock has 550,000 Bitcoins. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I think they own like 2.5% of all the Bitcoins.
Jesus Christ. Well, you know what? You can help people reach in all that and make that paper. But before that, I want people to understand a little science, or just a little bit education for those non-accredited investors. Can you break down what it means to be a non-accredited investor and why DiversyFund is a good fit for them?
I do not like those words because it bifurcates us. We're in this bipolar world lately. So I say anybody, regardless of where you are, we're open for you at the end of the day. Because I do not like using the words because I don't want to judge people at the end of the day. You don't get approached. You don't understand the game. The industry insiders, the gatekeepers aren't going to approach you. They're not advertising online. They're doing things behind the scenes. They're not incentivized, whether it's the brokers, the attorneys, the accountants, the players in the game. So for that reason, you don't know this exists. This has been around for a long period of time. We use words like sophisticated, unsophisticated, qualified, not qualified, but it's your God-given right to, especially in this country, to have these opportunities. They should be shared. Nowadays, to have these regulatory agencies say you're not smart enough or you're not qualified enough. Well, that's up to you. Nowadays, I'm going to go with AI, right? Let's not talk about Google. Nowadays with AI and chat, you could understand everything in real time. So you could just take a document and take a legal document that's 50 pages, put it in there and summarize at 8th grade level, 12th grade level, whatever level you want, and give me a 1-page summary of what this means. You have that ability to understand stuff. So, and they still have these archaic friction points for you, not allowing you to do stuff. So this is why I believe we're at the forefront here of kind of democratizing this whole process for people. And that's just, I think it's ridiculous that we have these things in place. They say they're to protect people, but I think we have to educate people less than protect people.
Yeah, that's what I'm showing, folks. They have a website. You see it below. You want to know what my man is talking about? Just visit DiversyFund right now. I mean, you can start getting ideas and navigating as our man is talking here. If you have any questions, feel free to throw them in the commentary. All right. So let me ask you as well, what type of investments can everyday people access through DiversyFund, and what are the potential benefits and, of course, risks associated?
Yeah, there's always a little risk on it. So I think the biggest thing the product that we sell is very low risk compared to other alternative investments in private markets. The biggest thing is it's more of you have to let it appreciate and grow over time. So it's more of an illiquid investment. And if you're not used to illiquid investments, I think you need to kind of compare that to an IRA. You put money in, you can't take it out until you're 70. So it's like, what's the right portion for you to put in? So we have various different types of minimums. How does this fit you specifically, not me, not the other person, but how does it fit you and your financial needs with your goals? So you kind of have to look at that and really create a holistic plan for yourself, and then just dabble with it, get going, see how it is, educate yourself, see the product. We're constantly upgrading things and giving more feedback at how it works. I think it's fascinating for people to have that opportunity and that education about it. And this is something that could really provide generational wealth for you, get you out where you are and give you that forward mobility, which you deserve. That's what makes us the greatest country, I believe, is the fact that we have the greatest ability to go up that wealth ladder.
Yes, we do. We could actually go up a ladder. That's right. Now. So for people to begin even going up that ladder, within DiversyFund, how much does someone need to start investing? And what kind of returns, have been average or that you've seen?
Yeah, so we really have two main products. So we have the one-time investment starts at $25,000, and then we have a subscription plan that's as low as $500 if you want to do it on a month-to-month basis. So it depends what works for you. We noticed that if you're really serious about this, you have to put a good amount of money in, because really smaller amounts, you double that over 5 years. It's not that big of a deal. And then the other is really teaching people through the subscription plans the habit of saving. So those really match the needs of success. It's not our success, it's your success. We have to match that together. So what we do is, the best way for me to say this is staying compliant is this asset class outperforms the S&P 500. You could go straight into chat, I say at the end of the day, and type it in. It's like, how's this asset class perform? And we'll tell you, generally speaking, between 12 and 15%. That's what it says in the feedback on that. I like to use third parties here because instead of me saying that, but you put it in there, and you got to look at that too. And I would give that to somebody else too, and give you some advice if you're comparing companies. Is you want to look at the historicals of the industry you're investing in the product, and there's enough data out there to say it. Don't listen to what they're advertising. Go into that, use chat, and just say historically, how's this work? Because everyone has like a great one here and there, and I could advertise some fantastic ones we've done. But at the end of the day, it's like longevity. This is what you can expect and have reasonable expectations there. I think we get a lot of fooled at times and hear like a huge return, but that's like a one-off, right? That's an exception to the norm. And the only way to look at that is use the tools at hand. And today our tools at hand is use AI, use chat. It will give you the truth of what you can get out of that investment.
There we go. I love it. See, folks, come on. You hear this? My man's getting it done. So how has the company adapted then to ensure accessibility for investors during economic uncertainty, like what we've been going through recently, or market volatility?
The whole time since we started, there's always an ups and downs. It's been around 8 years going the initial stage. And then after we started, then we had crypto come aboard. Great. And then we had this thing called the pandemic, right? We had to deal with that.
So
then we had the frothy
what was
market.
that all about?
So it's like every 2 years seems like there's something major happens. And inflationary environment, here we are today, which is a little different post-election. So things are, I'm a little surprised it's not as volatile, the language at least out in the media, as it was after the last election.
Oh, word. Yeah, the media definitely made us think a certain way and that things were going to go a certain way. But right now, it's not looking that way. So what are y'all? Fear mongering.
Yeah, and that's surprising. There's a little less out there today, and we'll see what happens when he takes office. And there's the stock market's still pretty aggressively doing really well. The advent of artificial AI with it and the tech companies has really driven the markets doing good. We'll see how long that stays, but that's really here to stay. I think the AI, and then I'm not sure if you've the quantum computers, and they're coming online pretty quickly. Their capacities are being amazing. It's really interesting when you dive into that. I don't want to dive in that rabbit hole with you, but if you do, and seeing how technology is really increasing in technology.
Oh yeah, it's big time. I'm seeing it. I'm loving it. Everything I saw as a kid and read in comic books seems to be coming to a realization, and it's absolutely insane. And I'm loving every moment of it. And let's go. I'm here for it. Now, I brought up this page because, again, you were talking about levels just a little bit ago, about getting people started. Talk about this, the silver key, platinum key, gold key. What are these packages for people to get, started when they go visit DiversyFund.com? You heard?
Yeah, those are basically like the subscription plans, the silver key, the platinum's the one-off, lower, and the more the lowest side, and the other one is a higher dollar amount. So each one has a little bit of a different plan and service behind the scenes.
So let me ask you about customer service, because I'm also in that field, in the technology field. So if people have questions when they're part of the program, like what's the turnaround time that they can expect to get replies and answers to any of their questions or concerns?
Great question. You said like 3 or 4 things. So I call that the customer journey, the customer experience. And we're very iterative and always changing that and giving that, whether that's we're trying to be more driven through the app that we have and doing more push notifications, more education, proactive with that stuff, getting those quick turnarounds, using AI, using chats so you get real-time feedback if it's some basic questions, or if it's more in detail questions to point you in the right directions. So that's always been, again, a diverse amount of people in our community. We need to kind of personalize our customer interactions. And so each person, some people want to call, some people want a chat, some people want an email, some people want to log in the app. It's some people
want to knock on your door, have a coffee or a whiskey with you and talk about I hear you, bro.
we do meet with people face to face. We do live events. We do a little bit of everything. So
and you mentioned that. And you mentioned that it's not just a website, folks. You could also get an app, for either your Apple phone, your Android phone. Talk about the apps and the experience. Is it similar to the website?
Yeah, it's similar. We've got some new features launching mid-January. So excited to talk about that. That's the technology side thing. It takes a little time.
Excellent.
At the end of the day, it's like we want to make it accessible through the phone. So that's what people use the majority of the time. It's how many people in the world have of iPhones? 4.8 billion. Someone told me last weekend. That's quite a bit of people that are on the phones all the time.
Hey, but I'm an Android guy, and the Fed said that we can't talk to each other anymore if you have an Apple. That's bad.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. With the technology coming in, there's 2 sides. There's the great side and the other side, right? So.
I love my tech though, and I love what you're doing. Thank you for giving us the common folk an opportunity, if you will, through DiversyFund to do something, get involved, and make some paper too. For me, that's amazing. So let me ask you, if people wanted to check you out in person, do you do any talks anywhere? Do any shows? Where can we maybe see you and talk face to face and shake a hand about DiversyFund?
Yeah, I'm doing a little bit of stuff. I'm constantly in the news, the media, and podcasts.
I saw you in those magazine covers looking sharp and shit, changing the game since 2014, baby.
And then we have my social channels are big. We're sometimes doing live events. We will eventually do events around the country. That's something we're working on. I get more face-to-face presence with people. So yeah, it's all in the works. It's all happening. Social channels, easy to find me on my social channels as well.
You mean those right there on LinkedIn at Cecilio, or on Instagram at Cecilio? And it's funny, Craig, my business partner's business is named CXCC Studios. When I saw you at CXC, I said, oh shit, we fam, bro. We're gonna have to work together. Get us a building somewhere where we can put our studios and we'll rock the world. All right, let's go.
It's fun. I love doing live stuff. It's great. So it's more fun.
Yeah, man. We definitely gotta check you out in person. But really, brother, thank you for hanging out with me. I asked you 15 questions. Well, actually, about like 13 questions. You know, I don't want to take too much more of your time because I know you have customers out there that need to know everything about this spot right here, DiversyFund.com. Folks, check it out. There's an opportunity. My man Craig is leveling the game for us right here. It's not just about the elites making some paper. It's our time to shine too. And Craig is there to help us on that journey. Again, check it out, DiversyFund.com. Check him out on the socials at LinkedIn, Craig Cecilio, Instagram, CX Cecilio. Now, he a big boss making things happen. Any last words before we go, my brother? Words of inspiration, motivation, even advice for the folks out there?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, check us out. The more people who engage in our community, the more we can do. This is more than just an investment platform. It's a movement to get the underserved part of the population involved with this stuff. So the more we can do it, we'll work with the regulators to offer more of these opportunities. So it's definitely a big movement. Share it with your friends. Love to get feedback so we can make our product better for you. We're here at the end of the day to serve you. I'm not one of those guys who came from Wall Street. I'm one of those guys who am like you. I came from a working class family, so I can relate to you. And this is what this is about. It's about giving you those opportunities that I didn't have those as a child.
Well, thank you, man. Thank you for doing that and being forward thinking in that manner, if you will, to help us out. So I appreciate that, folks. Comic Crusaders is in full support of DiversyFund. So check it out right there, DiversyFund.com. And again, follow my home in the social. The links are also in the show notes. You know, I make it easy. It's all clickable. You go there, sign up. Again, look what it tells you right there, mi gente. Yo, limited opportunities, yo. Join the fun today. Don't wait. Don't wait. You know, hey, listen, it's Christmas time. Maybe someone that you love, you know, maybe has been wanting to dabble. You know, this maybe be a great gift. Open an account for them. Get them started on their journey to be rich. You heard me? This is what's great. Craig, thank you again for your time. I appreciate you. Everybody, you know what it is. Welcome. Thank you for coming to another Comic Crusaders podcast. I see you Crusaders out there watching. Thank you so much for the support. comiccrusaders.com. Comic Crusaders everywhere in the socials except, of course, YouTube, which is Comic Crusaders World. All right. So thank you so much for tuning in. Hasta la próxima, mi gente. Much love. Wepa! Thank you for listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. If you like the content, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, please visit comiccrusaders.com and our extended podcast family over at undercovercapes.com. And also make sure to download the Comic Crusaders app on the Google Play Store today.